Which benefit is most likely realized when an organization implements effective risk management techniques? Decreased need for leadership engagement in risk management programs. Increased confidence in the use of traditional organizational wisdom about risks. Greater flexibility across the organization in responding to vulnerabilities. Increased confidence among internal and external stakeholders. Answer is D. Organizations that have effective risk management programs are more resilient, losses are reduced, resources are not wasted. All these lead to increased confidence among internal and external stakeholders. In such organizations, practices tend to be standardized, leaders are more engaged, and creativity may be more helpful than applying traditional perspectives. Which is an example of an economic factor that should be included in an environmental scan? Proposed energy consumption regulations. Demographic population trends. Changes in workplace design and practices. Consumer price index data. The answer is D. Consumer price index data is an example of an important economic factor that should be included in an environmental scan. It is an indication of economic health, signaling possible changes in consumer spending habits. Regulatory changes represent a political factor. Changes in workplace design, such as telecommuting or mobile computing, could be social or technological. The Tent Corporation has begun an outsourcing process of a business unit in its Human Resources Department. The corporation has emphasized 3 processes that will have a major impact on a successful transition. These are due diligence, good contract performance, and a positive outsourcing relationship. Which action should HR recommend to ensure due diligence in the outsourcing process? Balance cost efficiencies against calculated risk factors. Analysis of the competitive business environment. Consistency and standardization of service level agreements. SLAs. Define the boundaries of control over core competencies. The answer is A. During due diligence of the outsourcing process, it is crucial to recognize possible risks and cost factors. Note that a company will not outsource its core competency, and SLAs do not have to be standardized across clients or offerings. The TERS organization has shifted from using the behaviorally anchored rating scales BARS, performance appraisal method, to using the forced distribution method in the administration of performance appraisals. Which is an advantage of the forced distribution method? A. It is the most objective method for rating performance with minimal rater inflation or bias. B. It increases reliability by providing specific behavioral examples to reflect performance. C. It always provides meaningful distinctions between the performance standards of employees. D. It results in a consistent distribution of performance ratings. The answer is D. Forced distribution is a form of employee evaluation in which employees are ranked against one another rather than performance standards. This performance rating system, bell curve, forced choice, forced ranking, is done by stack ranking the employees from first to last, or by creating 3 to 5 groups and evaluating each employee's skills and performance within those bounds. The result is typically a consistent bell curve with a small percentage of low and high performing employees and a large population of mid-level employees. A HR director involves HR trainee in developing the Total Quality Management (TQM) initiative that the organization intends to deploy in the production department in a bid to ensure continuous improvement in quality and reduce manufacturing defects by 30%. What career development activity does this describe? A. Career management. B. Organizational development. C. Career planning. D. Learning and development. The answer is A. By involving the employee in the employer's TQM initiative, the HR director is aiming to align the employee's career opportunities with the developmental direction of the company. Career planning is a process in which the individual employee determines and implements actions to achieve certain career goals. Career management is a process of selecting, evaluating, hiring, and developing employees. Career planning identifies personal abilities, while career management focuses on organizational staffing needs. Career planning focuses on the individual, while career management focuses on the job/company. In a bid to reduce bias and subjectivity, the TERS company has switched to a 360-degree feedback system. Which is an advantage of using a 360-degree evaluation? A. It identifies employee developmental opportunities from the performance appraisal process. B. It improves team collaboration and objectivity as raters undergo training before using this system. C. It increases the perspectives of performance feedback provided to an employee. D. It increases employer accountability to ensure pay/promotion decisions are based on job-related criteria. The answer is C. A 360-degree feedback involves performance appraisal process in which feedback is obtained from the boss, subordinates, peers, and coworkers, and the employees themselves. The major advantage of the 360-degree appraisal technique is that it provides various perspectives of job performance, thereby minimizing bias in the performance evaluation technique. What is the key issue in understanding the difference between a company's global and domestic operations? A. Culture. B. Economy. C. Currency. D. Offshoring. The answer is A. The key issue in understanding the difference between a company's global and domestic operations is dealing with a new culture that is different from the culture of the home country. SID is a manager of a cross-functional team in a non-profit environmental agency. He is described as a manager with a strong commitment to corporate social responsibility and prioritizing building an ethical culture. SID generally fits which description? A. He ensures compliance and adherence with environmental and sustainability laws. B. He practices trust-building behaviors through communication and consistency. C. He employs a laissez-faire management style where employees can apply their expertise. D. He ensures that supplier and vendor contractual obligations are met. The answer is B. Trust building helps each member know that they are working with members who share their goals and commitment to their project. Without this trust, a business team will become ineffective and may be unable to complete their tasks. Trust-building behaviors include follow-through, consistency, communication, and clarity on values. The CEO of a global corporation recently shares that the essence of a global strategic management is to guarantee a vision that considers the possibilities of every location as a market and as a source of competitive advantage. The CEO further affirms that all functions are expected to be involved in the process. What is the most important role HR will play in supporting global strategic management for this corporation? Creating HR policies and standards that reinforce global integration versus local responsiveness. Partnering to create the organization's global strategy. Designing and deploying cultural intelligence training and strategies for local subsidiaries. Ensuring that subsidiary workforces retain their distinctiveness, competences, and customize their offerings to meet local business conditions. The answer is B. HR supports the global strategic management best by partnering with the executive leadership to create a feasible global strategy for the organization. Creating policies, trainings, and customizations will only come after HR has worked with the senior leadership to determine the ideal global strategy for the corporation. Which of the following is an example of shared value, according to Michael Porter and Mark Kramer? A conglomerate of schools provides philanthropic educational opportunities for children in an underserved community. A household goods corporation paying for volunteers to travel to a catastrophic incident to assist with water and shelter relief efforts. A sustainable electric company bearing the full cost of providing free solar panels for electricity in an underserved rural community. A shoe company partnering with a microfinance organization to manufacture a low-cost affordable shoe for the poor in an underdeveloped region. Answer is D. Michael Porter and Mark Kramer's principle of shared value describe how companies can create economic value in a way that also creates value for society. Note that only option D provides both societal value and economic value, or the company and the community. It is a violation of an employee's FMLA rights to count FMLA, leave under no-fault attendance policies. Require an employee to submit a fitness for duty certification before returning to work after being absent due to a serious health condition. Request medical certification within 5 business days from the time an employee gives notice of the need for FMLA leave. State that paid leave will be substituted for unpaid FMLA leave. The answer is A. No-fault attendance policies provides for automatic discipline, up to and including termination, after a specified number of absences, within a set period of time, regardless of the reasons for the absences, except reasons that legally cannot be counted, such as FMLA leave. FMLA leave cannot be counted under no-fault attendance policies, meaning employees cannot accrue absence points for taking FMLA leave under a no-fault attendance policy. The Quell organization has rolled out an expansive range of operative risk management programs, enterprise-wide. These include avoidance, loss prevention, loss reduction, separation, duplication, and diversification. Which advantage is most likely to be realized when the Quell organization implements these risk management techniques? It will promote continuous improvement and foster higher levels of assurance among stakeholders. It will align the interests of all stakeholders with the interests of the owners of the organization. It will increase assurance in the ability of the organization to maintain a conservative culture that fosters the achievement of its strategic goals and objectives. It will create opportunities for elasticity and variability as an enterprise-wide response to organizational exposures and risks. The answer is A. Organizations that implement effective risk management techniques promote continuous improvement, support the effective use of the company's resources, and encourage and protect company-specific goals and objectives. Note that stakeholders are both internal and external, and it is not practicable to align the interests of all stakeholders to that of shareholders. A conservative culture and variable responses are not necessarily benefits of risk management. The HR director of a multinational corporation involved in the production of self-driving vehicles has advised that in the corporation's expansion drive to Southeast Asia, a PESTEL analysis should be done, as this will have a profound impact on the organization's chances of success and performance. Which of the following points raised by the HR director will fall under an economic element that should be included in a PESTEL analysis? Efficient use of existing public infrastructure investments and asset management. Consumer behavior considerations on the price point at which it will make sense to transition to self-driving vehicles. Replacing existing jobs in long-distance transportation and taxi industries. Future advances in AI will greatly increase the effectiveness of self-driving cars. The answer is B. A PESTEL analysis is a framework or tool used to analyze and monitor the external environmental factors that may have a significant impact on an organization's performance. PESTEL is an acronym that stands for political, economic, social, technological, environmental, and legal factors. Economic factors include exchange rates, inflation rates, interest rates, disposable income of consumers, consumer price index, and unemployment rates. Consumer behavior on price points is an economic factor. Efficient use of public infrastructure is a political factor. Replacing existing jobs is a social factor. Future advances in artificial intelligence, AI, is a technological factor. The HR manager of Levite Corporation has commenced various aspects of its talent acquisition and management processes. This involves recruiting, retention, leadership, employee development, and redeployment. The core of its workforce planning processes is to ensure Levite Corporation has optimal levels of the best-suited talent available for all business needs. Which of the following analysis techniques can be utilized to establish staffing estimates that account for internal and external influences and remain valid despite changes to strategy? A. MOST, Mission, Objective, Strategy, Tactics, Analysis. B. Strategic Labor Market Analysis. C. Scenario Analysis. D. Business Process Modeling. The answer is C. Scenario analysis is a decision-making tool useful to assess how a situation can turn out and how different actions, internal and external, will affect its outcome. The purpose of scenario-based workforce planning is to help develop information to plan for unforeseen and foreseeable events. It helps leadership make informed decisions about how to best allocate resources in preparation for what lies ahead. Organizations create and use scenarios to encourage more flexible, diverse thinking about their futures and create awareness and readiness. Organizations use scenarios to help organizational members envision possible and plausible future conditions, shift their thinking about the external environment, and consider how future conditions will affect their organization. Think of alternative responses and imagine the consequences of actions and decisions. Develop long-range plans and contingency plans, and assess ramifications for workforce and competency requirements. The Tepid Corporation has made a corporate decision to outsource a number of services to an offshore location. The services are supply chain management, accounting, customer support, marketing, and payroll. Which of the following is an appropriate action for HR to recommend to guarantee due diligence in the outsourcing process? Confirm the business case to outsource these services has sufficient evidence of corporate benefits in comparison with risk elements. Determine an ideal methodology, positional view or resource-based view, based on corporate strategy and legal compliance requirements. Carry out an environmental scan inclusive of a SWOT analysis and PESTEL analysis of the offshore company and its location. Take a transnational approach that balances the need for standardization with the benefits of local responsiveness. The answer is I. Offshore outsourcing is a strategic practice in which a business hires a third-party supplier to perform work in a nation other than the one in which the hiring business primarily conducts its operations. Note that it is imperative. A business case is utilized as it provides decision-makers with a management tool for evidence-based and transparent decision-making. A business case provides justification for undertaking a project or program. It evaluates the benefit, costs, and risks of alternative options and provides a rationale for the preferred solution. Which of the following is a consistent determining factor in union agreements in the United States? A no-strike clause in which the union agrees that during the life of the contract, employees will not engage in strikes but will submit to a grievance arbitration provision. Union security agreements in the form of union shops and agency shops. Seniority systems that give special benefits to members based on the length of service within which an employee has been a union member working in a union job. Clauses where the employer and union agree to compel employees to join the union and pay dues in a bid to eliminate the free rider problem. The answer is C. A consistent determining factor in union agreements in the USA is seniority, where collective bargaining agreements base employee benefits, promotions, and raises on seniority. Note that right to work states prohibit union security agreements that require an employee to join a union or pay union dues. Under the Americans with Disabilities Act (ADA), those addicted to legal prescription drugs cannot be considered disabled. Current illegal drug users are considered disabled. Recovering substance abusers are considered disabled. Addiction to alcohol cannot be considered a disability. The answer is C. Current illegal drug use is not protected by the Americans with Disabilities Act (ADA), but recovering addicts are protected under the ADA. An alcoholic is generally considered a person with a disability, and therefore protected under the ADA. A software company is opening a manufacturing facility in China. Some U.S. management and key personnel will be transferred. However, most new employees will be hired in China. Company executives want more information about the Chinese workforce, including a workforce evaluation of the employment market in China. What first step should be accomplished as soon as possible? Conducting a supply analysis of available employees. Identifying flexible staffing arrangements available in China. Establishing replacement and succession plans for the new facility. Creating a talent acquisition strategy to recruit proficient talent. The answer is A. Evaluating the current supply of U.S. workers and Chinese workers will help to identify the skill sets required and how many workers from each country will be needed. Note that in workforce planning, supply analysis comes first, then a demand analysis, then the gap analysis, and finally, the solution analysis. How can data analytics be used to improve employee recruitment and retention? Analyzing and extracting valuable insights to predict employee preferences and align HR practices with the same. Benchmarking and aligning compensation and benefits with sustainability and shared value strategy. Encrypting employee data against technology breaches and cyber attacks. Providing a centralized database that stores applicant tracking information, onboarding, and employee demographics. The answer is A. The chief aim of data analytics is to apply statistical analysis and technologies on data to find trends, predict patterns, and solve problems. Data analytics has become increasingly important in the enterprise as a means for analyzing and shaping business processes and improving decision-making and business results. Data analytics allows HR to make decisions based on data and not on gut feeling, create a business case for human resource interventions, and become more tactical. Which of the following organizations operates a corporate strategy of differentiation? A chain of retail stores sells in bulk and offers discounts to only its loyal customers. The finished product of a company is run through the Six Sigma process to ensure customer satisfaction. A company develops a premium product that is distinctively adaptive to weather changes. A firm spends considerable money on print and television advertising to attract top-tier customers. The answer is C. Michael Porter developed the phrase generic competitive strategies. This is composed of three generic strategies, which are cost leadership, differentiation, and focus. A company may choose to lower costs or differentiate based on what is important to their customers to demand higher prices on products, or focus by offering products to a select segment of their target market. Differentiation focuses on setting a product or service apart by giving it unique features that consumers value and for which they will pay a higher price for higher value. Six Sigma is a set of methods and tools for process improvement by eliminating errors. A review of the organization's cash flow statement shows the cash outflow has increased over the previous year. Which action should HR take in response to this metric? Reduce recruiting and selection levels immediately. Postpone any resource-intensive projects. Prepare for a downsizing exercise. Purchase resources for strategic onboarding. The answer is B. Cash outflow describes any money leaving a business. The opposite of cash outflow is cash inflow, which refers to the money coming into a business. A declining cash flow indicates that resources are scarce and are not readily available to fund additional projects or initiatives. This may not necessarily require an immediate decrease in recruitment, as this can create more problems by causing revenue to plummet. What is the indispensable notion behind the stakeholder theory? A business has interconnected relationships that accounts for complex interests that impact and are impacted by the business. A firm is required to share its implicit and explicit value with its employees, suppliers, and local communities. A business must first reach a maturity stage in profits and then embark on initiatives that will benefit people and planet. Stakeholders must receive tangible financial value based on company's net worth and its corporate social responsibility strategy. The answer is A. The stakeholder concept proposes that any organization operates within a multifaceted environment, in which it impacts and is impacted by a variety of interests, called stakeholders, who all share in the value of the organization and its initiatives. Shareholder theory, or Friedman doctrine, on the other hand, is the view that the only duty of a corporation is to maximize the profits accruing to its shareholders. Environmental scanning should be used to provide overall direction to an enterprise, specify the organization's objectives, and develop policies and plans to achieve those objectives. Estimate a feedback loop to monitor execution and to inform the next round of strategy evaluation. Identify local, national, and international competitive forces that could impact the organization's strategy and tactics. Improve efficiency and control costs within the boundaries set by the organization's strategic plan. The answer is C. Environmental scanning is the ongoing tracking of trends and occurrences in an organization's internal and external environment that bear on its success, currently and in the future. Environmental scanning is the process of gathering information about events and their relationships within an organization's internal and external environments. The basic purpose of environmental scanning is to help determine the future direction of the organization. The HR president of a civil engineering firm has noticed an unusually high number of turnover by the mid-level civil engineers. In her research and analysis, she has found that the engineers are leaving to rival organizations for parallel pay and benefit. What do you advise the HR president to do? Engage in recruitment and selection to hire the needed number of civil engineers and counterbalance the high turnover rate. Determine the reasons for the civil engineers leaving by benchmarking compensation and utilizing HR dashboards. Determine how areas of company culture such as management style, internal communication are perceived by employees. Specifically hire civil engineers that have long-term and stable employment history with a conservative career pattern. The answer is C. More often than not, compensation and culture are two possible culprits behind a high turnover rate in an organization. The HR president has already done a compensation analysis that shows the rival companies have similar pay and benefits. Therefore, there is no need for an additional pay analysis. The company culture should be analyzed to determine areas that may be responsible for the high turnover rate. The HR department at the reality company has asked a HR professional to evaluate the compensation and benefits programs in order to identify variable pay options. However, there is resistance from some members of the leadership because of increased bureaucracy and lack of agility. The reality company is most likely at what stage in the organization life cycle? Decline, maturity, growth, startup? The answer is B. Companies in the maturity phase of the organization's life cycle are hindered by highly developed policies, procedures, and rules when trying to enhance programs or respond to change. Companies in decline are also characterized by bureaucracy, but are most likely eliminating programs rather than creating them. Companies in the growth stage are in the process of developing more structure to manage rapid growth factors, and startups are not usually in a financial position to offer enhanced compensation and benefits.
We have over 30 resourceful membership videos to enable success in the HR certification exams. PHR, SPHR, SHRM-CP, SHRM-SCP. Be sure to join the membership of this channel. Click on the Join button today.